Hello and welcome to TechFunnel.com's interview series. My name is Danny White, and today we have joining us Andrew Davis. Andrew is a best-selling author and keynote speaker. He's built and sold a digital marketing agency, produced for NBC, and worked for the Muppets. Today, Andrew teaches business leaders how to grow their businesses, transform their cities, and leave their legacy. Welcome, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. So you've been called the Malcolm Gladwell of the business world. Why is that?
I think it's because at heart I'm a storyteller, and I mean Malcolm Gladwell is a pretty aspirational figure for me. I started he's awesome, and so I think people have connected the kind of storytelling that Malcolm Gladwell does with and his kind of insightful approach to finding lessons in these really great stories with the similar way for me to do it. Just, I focus much more, I think, on a business perspective instead of maybe a social one like Malcolm Gladwell might. So I think that's where the connection came from. I mean, I'm really honored and proud to have been associated with Malcolm Gladwell in any way.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes from. Kind of the storytelling meets business insight. I think that's kind of the key in the heart of it.
Very awesome. So you've said before that unconventional content partnerships lead to unparalleled market success. How is that? Doesn't that approach often lead to businesses ending up in left field from a marketing perspective?
Yeah, well, I think if you just willy-nilly come up with random content partnerships and partner with anyone that comes around the block, then you're going to end up with a really messy marketing approach and probably just be really disorganized. The kind of content partnerships I'm talking about are much more focused squarely on the audience. So I really believe you can partner with any brand who also targets and works with and has customers or clients in the exact same audience. So the way you could think of this is if you start asking yourself, what brand has my customer as their current customer? Who are those people, and what kind of content could we create together that would add value to both of our audiences? Then you have a very, very, tightly focused approach, and also a clear understanding of why you're partnering with these people. So if you do that, you don't end up with being all over the place and the content. And you can partner with the weirdest people. If you go to Amazon and you think of your business as that cart, the cart at the bottom of Amazon that says people who like this also bought that. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to say, hey, what do my customers also buy? What do they buy before me, and what do they buy after me? And what makes sense? So let's just imagine you sell cameras, digital photography cameras. Right. Well, you should also assume that a lot of those people are going to buy tripods, or they're going to buy backpacks. So how could you partner with a tripod manufacturer or a backpack manufacturer to create content that both of you can share with your audience, and as a result, cross-pollinate your brand with each other?
That's incredible. So in Town Inc., you link the success in a person's business to the success of their community, which we found very interesting. Should that be every business person's approach, every CEO's approach to their business?
I don't know if it should be every CEO's approach. I can't think of off the top of my head of someone who shouldn't think this way. Look, we live in an internet age where you can buy anything online. You can research anything online, and everything can look the same very quickly. And I found in writing Town Inc. that one of the most amazing things was that businesses that were more successful did a good job of marketing where their product or service was from and attaching that to the reason that their business is different, better, someone else it's from. So I think, marketing the place you do business just as much, if not more than the business you do, can be a really important aspect of growing a successful business. For example, Warsaw, Indiana is the orthopedic capital of the world.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a small little town in the middle of nowhere. It's 25,000 people, but $11 billion of orthopedic revenue goes through this one little town. And so if you're based in Warsaw and you're in the orthopedic business, you gain a huge amount of credibility. You can actually charge more for your product or service because you're based there. Or think about Detroit. Do you know the brand Shinola? Have you ever heard of that?
Haven't heard of that one.
They make watches and all sorts of cool stuff now. But Shinola they were actually based in Texas, and they decided they wanted to start a new brand, and they wanted to figure out where this brand should be from. So they went around the country and they did market research. They just asked people, and they said, "Hey, look at this pen. This pen is made in China. How much would you pay for it?" And people would say $5, right? Then they would say, "Oh, look at this pen, very similar looking pen, but this one's made in the USA. How much would you pay for it?" And people would say $10. They would double the original on average. Then they started asking about cities. They would say, "This pen's made in San Francisco. How much would you pay for it?" They'd say, $10.50. This one's made in Austin. How much would you pay for it? $10.49. The highest grossing place on average was Detroit. They said, "How much would you pay for this pen if it was made in Detroit?" And people said $15, 3 times the original price. So they built their business in Detroit. They took over an old GM factory. They hired old people that used to be employed by the auto industry, and they claim that Detroit is kind of bringing back luxury manufacturing. And Shinola is doing unbelievably well. They have 24 or something retail stores all over the United States, and the brand is called Shinola Detroit. So I always ask CEOs to think about this. If people are willing to pay 3 times as much for the product or service you provide, just because it was made in or provided from a city that you're based in, why wouldn't you do that? It doesn't cost any more. So that's kind of the genesis of the book. Sorry, that was a long answer. I get fired up about it.
No, you're a great author, and you're also working on another book, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. But so you talk also about business owners leaving a good legacy. Do you feel like leaving a legacy is the primary purpose of business? How customers will see you after you've been around for a couple of years, or after you've moved on maybe to other endeavors? What's your normal spin on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think maybe it's just because I'm getting old.
Aren't we are getting any younger? So.
Yeah, exactly. No one's getting younger, I guess. I think everybody deep down inside would like to have their kind of involvement continue, even though they're not there, right? Like, and I think legacy is a really important piece of that. Like, if your kind of ideas or your product or your services or the impact you've made lasts far longer than your involvement, then you're leaving a legacy. And I think most business people, even if you're a customer service representative, or you're a writer, or a copywriter, or if you're the CEO, I think that deep down inside, the hope is that they leave a legacy that far outlasts their involvement in the organization. Absolutely. And I think it helps ground people. The more you think about the legacy you want to leave, the better the business you can build, and the more you can help focus your team and company's effort around the things that really matter. Yeah.
All right. So now on to the book that you're working on. You're working on this book titled The Loyalty Loop, about how businesses can leverage their existing client base to drive new business and also a steady stream of income. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm actually writing the book right now in a little house in Arizona that I rented just to get away for the week. So the Loyalty Loop is really about helping people understand that you can use the customers you've got to get the customers you want by focusing on providing a really great experience. And I define experience as a series of post-purchase encounters that leave an impression on people. So it's not one thing. It's not like, the warm cookies you get when you walk into the DoubleTree Hotel, and that smell you get, because that's just one thing. It's all the little things that everybody does that create an experience designed to create new moments of inspiration in the minds of new customers or prospects, or even the customers you've got, and that bring you right back to the brand.
Very cool. So when's the expected release date?
It should be September of this year, which is 2019. If you're watching this in 2020, it's already out. Go get it. It's a bestseller, I'm sure, by then.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right. This has been fun. Thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us today. Where can people find out more about your books and your speeches and other information about you?
Yeah, sure. Well, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Drew Davis here. I do a video series every week called The Loyalty Loop on YouTube. So just search The Loyalty Loop. You'll find those videos. And if you want to know more about the books, you can find all the books at akadrewdavis.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Danny.
Really appreciate your time today. Guys, thanks for listening to this interview. Make sure you get The Loyalty Loop when it comes out in September. For these and other interviews and topics, visit us at techfunnel.com. You can connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you so much. Have a great week.